subscribe and share. Please, turn off the ad block, subscribe, and share. Links will be below for anyone wanting to support this channel.
Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett and I'm the founder and owner of TechViewSnop, and today we're going to get into how to put Google applications like Google Play on Genymotion. Genymotion is an Android emulator, one of the best, as I may admit, on computers. I think it's also on Macs, but basically you can use Genymotion for development purposes, or if you don't know what Androids are like, you can get a taste of it. Now, one thing I will tell you right now, because you may run into this, is because it's an emulator, you will not get the full experience, and some apps may crash or are completely unusable because it's an emulator. That's the one trade-off you will have to deal with, and there's nothing I can do about it. And the developers, they could, but for the most part, many of the problems they can't. So with that in mind, let's jump into this. Oh, and I did make this video in the past, but there is a few things that need been updated because the video is kind of old, and also I got a newer microphone and I like exercising it. So as far as that goes, let's jump on in. So first things first, what you need to do is figure out what version of Android you have. So from there, what you need to do is go to settings. Depending on what settings type you have, you may have tabs on the top. If you have that, go to the far right tab and select that. If not, then it might look something like this. And what you're looking for is status or about something. In this case, it's about tablet. We want the Android version. So right now we're on Android 5.1, and that's what we want. And a quick side note, if you click that a few times, a animation comes up. This animation is different per version type, and it's the ultimate version of type, so cupcake, lollipop, froyo, things of that nature. And that's code words for when it's in development. So let's go back to the home screen, and we want to now download some stuff. So from here, what we want to download is Genymotion ARM translation. And what this will do is, if you do not do this, then and you try to put the Google apps on there, you will get this message, and that's useless to you. And that basically fixes that. So from here, what we want to do is download it. Now, because this site has advertisements that are very difficult to figure out, so to figure out what's an advertisement and what's not, this is not an advertisement. But for the advertisements, a quick trick is if you hover over the area and you're hovering off the button itself, or it shouldn't be clickable, but you get an icon saying it's clickable, then it is an advertisement, or chances are it's an advertisement. Whereas this, if you notice, when I get off the up button, immediately it's not clickable. Whereas this, I can go way off and it says it's clickable. Just a note. Next, you want to take the Android version and go to one of the few things I link. I would suggest you go to Stack Overflow first, because this seems to work the most, but for the most part you just need to go down here and find your version, click on it, and download it. And if that doesn't work, I have two other places, and you also have Google. Just put Google Apps, or the actual stuff is called G Apps, so G obviously short for Google. And what is this, to be exact? Basically, this is the actual stuff, the actual Gmail in some cases, but Google Play in many cases, and some other stuff, and also the settings that go with it. So once you download that, what you need to do is go back to the emulator and go to the files. And if you throw the GApps in there now, you're going to get this. We don't want that. So what you do is you go to the Genymotion ARM translation, drag and drop it into the emulator, and you will get this. From here, you can press OK and OK. From there, you need to press and hold a power button and press power. Now, I already have it on here and have the Google apps on here to speed up time, because it really does take a lot of time to power this thing down and power it back up. But make sure that you actually power it down and do the thing. It looks like it'll freeze for a second. An error will come up saying, oh, it's not, it needs to be closed because the thing thinks it needs to be powered down, which it is. And then it'll close itself. If something happens, you can still press the X, but it might not work, as far as something might not save right. So the safe way to do it is by pressing hold and pressing power. Once you have the thing back up, you can go to the GApps, the right version, and drag and drop it like before, and go from there. Now, between the times of you waiting for the stuff to go on there, and also between the times of you're waiting for the stuff to power off and power back on, you can watch some of my other videos or follow us on Twitter, and so you know when new videos come out, or subscribe to the channel or share the channel. And by the time you're done with that, this should be here. So as far as that goes, what you need to do is press OK to this. And again, you can watch some more of my videos and stuff like that. And press OK. From here, again, you'll do the power thing again and let it power off and power back on. And just in case if you were wondering, if your stuff is wrong, like say for example if the file is wrong and it's not recognized, you will actually get this little error. So that means you need to look at a different website or find something else on Google GApps and also the version of Android. So with that, once you power it off and power it on for the second time, what you would do is go into the unlock it and go to the apps menu, and you should see more apps as before. So you see the Play Store, Google, and a few other things. One thing to keep in mind is you probably won't see Gmail, won't see Calendar, Maps, and a couple other things. The reason why is simply because of security. And this might sound odd, but what happened back in the day is Google expected the phone developers and also the phone networks to do the right thing. In doing so, Google, when they had a update for Gmail or anything else, what would end up happening is they'll give the update to phone developers or the phone networks and say, hey, can you push this out? It's a security thing or whatever, and they'll help the developers or the networks will do it. If the developer wants to do it but not in the network, then it won't happen. If the network wants to do it but not the developer, then it won't happen. But Google, if they want it to happen, and they have no real control over it one way or another. So that's very, very important when it comes to that. So what would end up happening is the developers and the networks realize, well, if we push updates to the phones or devices, what would end up happening is people won't buy new devices, which means less money for us and more quote-unquote work for us for whatever reason. But it's really more of a money game. So in order to make it where it looked like, well, if you want the newest updates and stuff like that, you better get the newest phones and devices instead of hold on to your stuff even that much longer. and it was legal and still legal today. So what Google has done to counteract that, because there were some security problems that they were trying to patch and couldn't because of that, they actually went ahead and told Gmail and all the other necessary security applications, or applications that could have a security problem, to be in Google Play, so Google's market. And from there, what would end up happening is Google Play, if there was a update to require, it would just happen through the market. So if you have online connection, you can update yourself instead of being held hostage by a network or a device manufacturer, which happened a lot. In fact, which basically having the update coming out, which almost never happened unless it was like, real critical. And at that, it basically never happened. So with this ensures that you will have the most secured stuff and the best. So from here, what you want to do is click on the Play Store and sign in, or Google and sign in, doesn't really matter. But you'll go and start downloading stuff through the Play Store. So if you click on that, again, sometimes you'll run into some errors like that. But basically, it'll want me to sign in, and I'm not going to do that. And same thing with the Google Now, which is that it will want me to sign in, which I'm not going to. Now, keep in mind, as you see here, we got a new function. If we hold down the home button, we got Google, and this is Google Now. And if you're signed in, then everything should be somewhat fine. Again, it's using emulators. But as far as that goes, that's pretty much it. And if you want to know how to make applications, I do have videos on that. So feel free to take a look at that. And feel free to take a look at my other videos. But again, if this has helped you, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, share, and feel free to follow us on Twitter so you know when new videos come out. But if you do have any questions, go ahead and leave that down below. Or if you have any comments or anything else, go ahead and leave that below in the comment section too. If this has not helped you, or you don't like something, go ahead and leave a dislike, but tell me why, so I can fix it in future videos. And I hope to see you in the next video. And this has been CraigBennettII, founder of Tech Views. And I hope you have a great day.